This is the H45 emergency camp heater. This is basically a furnace that you can use in case your power goes out. These are the various pieces that come with it. It is pretty easy to put together. I'll try to show you that now. Everything sort of stacks one inside the other. This is the burner tube. Superheats the fuel. There's 3 of these turnbuckles to keep the stove pieces together. It's basically how the pieces go together. You have 2 air doors for the stove to get air. This can be used with solid fuel like wood or coal or diesel. This is being set up for diesel. Basically a standard chimney. I have it set up underneath the tree here just to keep it a little cool, at least me cool. And now I'm going to hook up the fuel control. Here's the fuel control, the H45 heater. It's selectable for diesel, gasoline, or jet fuel. You can also control the heat from the setting of what they call low to a setting of high. There's the on and off for the fuel. This unit fits right in this slot, stays on the side of the heater. This is the input fuel, hooks underneath. A little quick connect fitting. The input fuel, quick connect. Got about 12 feet of hose, another quick connect, and I'm sort of cheating. Normally a jerry can would be connected to this tripod. Here's a picture of it. You would invert the jerry can on this tripod. Here's the whole tripod. But since I don't have a jerry can, I just improvised. I just took a can, regular tin can, and I put a fitting on the bottom of it. And that's going to be my temporary fuel connection. I recommend that you definitely get the jerry can for this, or hook it up to a standard fuel fitting source. Then what we're going to do, we're going to fill it up with some fuel, follow the instructions. You have to turn the fuel on and let it drain into it for about 3 or 4 minutes. Then what you do is you take 4 ounces of fuel in the provided cup, standard measuring cup actually. It's attached to it so you can't lose it. Put 4 ounces of diesel fuel in the bottom of the unit. You take a piece of tissue paper, a little bit smaller than this. You light the tissue paper and push it down with this tool through the top. And there's the top. So, give me a minute. I'll get some fuel in this and we'll see how it works. Okay, took a few shots, but finally got it running. And let me tell you, this thing definitely throws out some heat. What's really weird is, pretty neat, is the combustion chamber is just definitely glowing on the inside. And I turned it down as much as I could. I'm standing here. It's about 70 degrees outside right now, and I can really feel the heat. This thing will work really well if you are trying to heat a cabin or something like that. Playing around with the fuel settings, I got it down as low as I can get it, and it's still cranking out some pretty good heat. So it is definitely a good unit to heat up a cabin. Even my hand right here, it is very warm. It's throwing a lot of heat. It's supposed to be a radiant heater, and it definitely throws the heat in a radiant fashion. The control takes a minute to kick in. It says to start it on high and then turn it down to about 3 or 4, and I agree with that. I would turn it down to a very low setting, especially if you don't need the heat, as soon as possible, because it takes probably about 3 to 4 minutes to respond to the controls. I assume because there's so much fuel in the line, it has to consume that fuel before it calms down a little bit. But it's definitely warm. It's a good little heater. The exhaust has calmed down a little bit because it was burning a little rich. Now it's pretty clear at this point. It was a little sooty in the beginning when it had too much fuel when you first start it. But now it's working pretty nice. You can hear it rumble a little bit. And it is warm. If you wanted to cook something on top of this thing, there's that depression right there to boil water or whatnot. I would definitely believe you could boil water with this quite effectively. If you wanted to heat up some water, I think this would definitely heat a fairly large home in an emergency situation.